Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is for Vlogmas Day 9. No, it is Vlogmas Day 10. I thought we'd change it up a little bit today. So instead of doing a follow me around all day kind of video, I thought today we could do a sit down Q&A. I told you I was going to do this Q&A back in Vlogmas Day 1, so please ask me some questions, and I got quite a few. So I'm going to answer them. I'm feeling a bit casual about this. I'm going to sit cross-legged on my bed. So I did get quite a few, so I'll try and answer. I think I can probably get through all of them. We'll see how we go. We'll see how long it takes. But I'm going to jump straight into it. So the first one comes from Rochelle Glendon, who is another Australian vlogging mum. Check out her channel if you haven't already. She is really fun. So her question is, what is your favourite thing about YouTube? And I probably have two favourite things. One of them is interacting with you guys. I really have a lot of fun when you guys comment and we get to have a bit of a chat back and forth. I really enjoy that. I think it's really fun because, I mean, that's why we do YouTube, isn't it? We like to chat to people that are like-minded, that are interested in the same things that we are, that kind of thing. So that's really, I think, why most people do start. That's the reason I started YouTube anyway. And the other thing is honestly looking back at my old videos, especially the vlogs, because obviously my kids are still little and they're changing so often and so quickly. It's nice to be able to go back and sort of see what they were like a year ago, 2 years ago. I think I've been doing this, must be coming up to 3 years now. I started vlogging or doing videos when I was pregnant with Owen. So yeah, that must have been 2015. So 2.5 years. So yeah, looking back at old videos is really fun. I really enjoy it. Also as well, I do when we go away and things, I like to do vlogs about that. So I like looking back at those when we go to the zoo, all that kind of thing. I really enjoy that. I'm glad that I have done this because, like I say, we can go back and look at these videos. The next question is from Kim Westmoreland. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She says, if you do a Q&A, I'd love to know how you started your online store and how you run it. Thanks. Okay, so I have an online store, an online baby clothes store, which I did keep saying that I was going to do an entire video on it and sort of show you all the things and, you know, a bit of more of the ins and outs. So I'll do sort of a brief little thing here. So when Owen was a baby, I really wanted him to have a little pair of moccasins. And I was looking around and I felt like they were really expensive to buy, especially for a baby. I mean, the shoes are only going to fit a baby for a few months tops. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So a lot that I found, although they were absolutely beautiful and obviously had amazing fabrics and the materials used are handcrafted, most of them, they were all upwards of $50, I would say. And for me, to buy a baby a pair of those kind of shoes is very expensive. I did actually buy a pair of shoes from a local artisan type of person. I think she was in Fremantle, Perth, Fremantle, one of them. I bought a pair of shoes for my niece's first birthday, and because it was a gift, I felt okay spending that kind of money. But for my own kid, for actually wearing the shoes every day, I didn't really feel like spending that kind of money. So what I did is I figured that there must surely be some kind of cheaper alternative. Maybe the quality wasn't going to be as high as, you know, what these $50 ones were, but at least if it got them through a couple months. So I went looking. I did actually find some wholesalers that made them, both in genuine leather and then in a faux leather. I did also, a few years ago, have an online store selling nail polish, which I wrapped that up when we moved house because, yeah, it was fun and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't earning a lot of money, so, and I just didn't really have the time to keep running it. So I had experience in running an online store before this, so I thought, well, why not, you know, if I can get access to this cheaper alternative to these amazing moccasins that I love, why don't I open a store selling these moccasins? Because surely there's other people in the same boat as me. So yeah, I ordered a whole bunch of them. I invested a little bit of money in getting, you know, a bulk amount there. And then while I was looking for the stores, I did find a lot of the same wholesalers and vendors had some cute baby clothes as well. So I decided to go the shoes and the baby clothes. So brought that in. Set up the store and then yeah, got running. So straight off the bat, the online store was doing okay, but then I felt like I needed to do a bit more getting the word out there and things like that. So I ended up going to a few markets around sort of Perth and setting up a whole market stall and selling them through there. And those market stores I feel do really well. A lot of the places that I go are places where there are lots of young families and things, and everyone that is in the same boat as me, they're saying they want this look, but they can't find it for a affordable price. So yeah, so I do some markets. Not so regularly this year. I did a lot last year and on a regular basis, but this year I've done a couple but not as many. So I really enjoy doing the markets as well because you get to actually chat to your customers and that kind of thing. you know, see their faces, and a lot of them are pregnant, so they're obviously excited about their new baby and dressing the baby, and it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, I really enjoy doing the market, so I will continue to do them. I find the online portion of the store is a great little backup. So I have a lot of people that come in that aren't finding out the sex of their baby, and they want to buy the stuff, but they want to buy something pink for a girl or blue for a boy, you know, that kind of thing. So then those kind of customers tend to go back to my website, you know, later on when they've had their baby, and that's when they make their purchase. So I would say the majority of my sales comes from the market stalls, and then, well, they do. The majority of my sales come through market stalls, and then the online store is a bit of a backup. So that just sort of runs in the background. I don't do a huge amount of promotion for that store, but it is a hobby, because I do have an actual job that I go to. But it is a hobby that makes a little bit of money, so that's really fun. I hope that answers your question. Like I said, if you want me to go into more detail, I probably can do a video about it, but that really probably covers a lot of it, to be honest. Next one is from Even Artie. So question is, what would you like to do with or provide for your children that you didn't have growing up? Things, skills, experiences, or parenting traits, anything. I have been thinking about this question since you asked it, which was Vlogmas Day 1. I've been thinking about this, and honestly, I cannot come up with an answer. So my parents had me very young. My mum was 17, my dad was 20, and when they had me, and you know, they were teen parents. And I think a lot of the a lot of stereotypes about teen parents are that they don't do a good job, they're children themselves, what are they, you know, they've stuffed up their life, that kind of thing. And you hear it all the time. But to be honest, I cannot fault my parents for the way they brought up myself and my sister. They were young, but they had it together. They did an amazing job. I remember my mum's 40th birthday, and I was thinking I might do a speech at her birthday, and I didn't end up doing it because I'm just not that good at public speaking. So, but you know, I was thinking about it, and I was trying to think of things. I remember just thinking to myself, you know, I'm actually proud of my parents, not in a way that I'm proud that they're my parents, but I'm proud of what they've achieved in their life and how they've done it. Especially, I mean, I don't think of teen pregnancy as something that defines your life or ruins your life or anything like that. I really don't. I don't see how it's got, I mean, obviously there are some situations where it doesn't work out as well as it has done with my parents, but I just think it doesn't deserve that label. Especially, you know, I'm a child of a teen pregnancy, and it's I couldn't have asked for a better childhood, to be honest. I never wanted for anything. I know that, you know, there were times when we didn't have a lot of money because they were young, they were still finishing their apprenticeships at the time. They weren't earning a full-time wage, they were on an apprentice wage, which is tiny, which is really low. So, you know, they said that there were times they were struggling. But as a child, throughout the whole thing, I don't remember any of that. I don't remember this. I didn't feel like we were struggling. I didn't feel like there was something that I didn't have. You know, as a material things, and also emotionally, I guess. I felt like they were always there for me. They both worked full-time for the majority of my childhood, but and I spent a lot of time, I think the first couple of years I spent a lot of time with my grandparents while they were working. But that, again, I feel like that was an experience that not every kid gets to have. I'm getting emotional talking about this, but I had I got to experience my grandparents in a way that I feel like a lot of other kids don't get to experience. I was with them for a lot of the time, but then at the same time I didn't feel like I wasn't with my parents either. Like, they got to, you know, school things, they got to, you know, my mum always dropped me off at school. I just, you know, I spent a lot of time with my parents still, and my sister as well. I'm sure she would say the exact same thing. They did a great job. They honestly did a great job. And there's nothing that I can think of that I would have changed about my childhood, or that I would have wanted, that I would look back and think, oh, well, they did it this way and I'm going to do it the other way because that didn't work so well. I really can't think of anything. And there's not even things like, I guess, but it's not even like, the only thing that I feel like we are doing differently to what my parents did is we've gone on more holidays. So as kids, by the time I sort of was about, I think about, maybe 11 or 12, like my later, before I was a teenager, but sort of those later childhood years, we started going camping and things. But before that, I don't really remember going away very often. No, we did though, because we'd go down south. I don't know. But I feel like that's the only thing that I'm doing differently, is we're doing a few more holidays. But I'm thinking about it now, I feel like we did go away, my parents and I, like my family. So, don't know. But yeah, that's a really hard question. And honestly, I have been thinking about this for a week, however long it's been. So thank you for your question. Skills, experiences, or parenting traits. Yeah, I honestly can't think. do with or provide for your children that didn't have growing up? I do know one. Going back to the holiday thing, I didn't go overseas until I didn't miss it, but it is something we're hopefully going to be doing differently. I didn't go overseas until I was 18. So when, like I said, we did little holidays and little getaways and things when I was a kid, but they were always sort of down south in the state. We never sort of went to a different state or overseas or anything like that. So Joe and I are hoping to take our kids to Disneyland in a few years' time, not right away. We want to wait until Owen's probably at least 5 before we go. I don't know if it will end up happening. Hopefully it does, fingers crossed, but that is something I suppose I'd like to do with my kids that my parents weren't able to do for me. But I mean, at the time I didn't feel like I was missing out. I don't look back and go, oh my God, I wish I'd done that as a child, but it is something that I'm hoping to do for my kids. So there we go. There's an answer. That's a long-winded answer to your question, but I did have to give you a bit of background there. Okay, so next question is from Hannah, who has been watching me since the beginning. So I really appreciate that, Hannah. Thank you for sticking around for so long. If one of your subscribers sees you in real life, would you like them to approach you? Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, why not? I think it'd be great. Okay, so next question is from, who's this one? From Marsha, who again is a very loyal subscriber. If you could live anywhere else in Australia or any other country, where would it be and why? Then she also asks, do you have any pets, or would you get a pet in the future, and what type? And that's it. Okay, so would I live anywhere else other than Australia? I spent 6 months in the UK and Wales and a little bit of Europe traveling. We travelled around Europe for a couple months of that as well when I was 18, 19. So I feel like I lived in Wales particularly for a good 4 months of my life, which I know is not a huge amount of time, but it gave me a little bit of that experience. And I really enjoyed it, I did, but I don't see myself ever moving anywhere else. Did you say in Australia, or live anywhere else in Australia or in another country? I don't see myself living in another country, to be honest. I feel like Australia is my home. My family is all here. I can't imagine. I mean, the 6 months that I spent away from my family was hard enough. I can't imagine actually going and living somewhere else indefinitely, if that makes sense. So definitely not going to be moving overseas. Oh, I'm sneezy. Oh, even Australia, I can't really see myself living anywhere else in Australia. I've been to Melbourne, and that's really it. That's all I've been. I've not travelled a lot in my life. Like I said, I did that 6 month stint in Europe and everything. That was fantastic, but besides that I haven't done a whole lot of traveling. I am very much a homebody. Like, I am someone that is very happy with where I'm very happy to stay at home. As you can probably tell from my Vlogmas, I've been home like every day for the past week. I'm very happy to stay home. I do enjoy traveling when I'm doing it, but I don't sit here and yearn to go other places or have those kinds of experiences. Although, like I say, I do enjoy it when I do. It's not like I don't hate traveling or anything. It's just not something that's sort of a huge priority for me at this point in my life anyway. So maybe later on when the kids are grown up, maybe I'll feel differently, but at the moment, no, I'm very much happy where I am. I would like to travel and see more of Australia though, because it's a beautiful country and I'd like to see more of it than just WA. And then I did have a pet. When I was about 16, I think I was 16, I must have been, I had a dream that I had a little grey kitten called Rosie. And then I woke up the next day and I said to my mum, this is my dream, this needs to come true. So I think I did ask my boyfriend at the time to buy the cat for me, and Mum said, no, you don't do that, because if you break up with him, then you will be sad and you won't like your cat anymore, which I don't think is true. But anyway, Mum ended up finding a cat for me, and a little grey kitten, exactly the way that I dreamed her in my my dream, and I called her Rosie. So she was a tiny little kitten. So I had her since she was only a few weeks old. She was so tiny. So just over a year ago, she did pass away. And she was under my car. I didn't know that she was there. I backed out the driveway and she ran away from under the car, and I didn't feel a bump or anything. I didn't feel any kind of like indication that I'd hit her or run her over or anything, but she must have done, because she ran away, and I sort of didn't think anything of it. I thought she must have just, you know, run out, didn't feel anything, and then the next morning we found her and she had died. So it was really upsetting for me. I mean, obviously losing a cat, but the fact that that's the way it happened as well was really, yeah, not the nicest of things to happen. And like, I loved my cat so much. It's a very emotional Q&A. But yeah, so she's been gone about 1.5 years, and honestly, I do want to get another cat eventually, but it's really hard because my husband Joe, he is allergic to cats. he was not allergic to Rosie. I do think you can get hyperallergenic cats, which she must have been. I've looked them up recently, and I can't remember the breeds or anything like that because, yeah, I don't retain such knowledge. But I did looked it up because we never knew what kind of cat she was. She came from a pet store. They didn't know what she was. She was kind of she'd been dumped at the pet store, and then we got her from there. So she wasn't bred or anything through the store or breeders or anything. She just was, yeah, apparently she was with another family. They couldn't look after her. They took her to the pet store, and then they called my mum because they knew my mum was looking for that particular look of cat. So I never knew what breed she was. And then, yeah, I did some research about these hyperallergenic cats, and from what I read and what they look like and knowing what she looked like and her nature and that kind of thing, I'm pretty sure she was one of those types of cats because Joe never had a problem with her. He was fine. Other cats, he can't touch them. He loves them. He's a cat person as well, but he just gets sneezy and everything, and it's really uncomfortable for him. And I'm the kind of person, if I have a cat, I will be keeping it indoors because I don't, you know, I feel it's very irresponsible to leave your cats outside, particularly at night, where they can, you know, cause all kinds of amount of damage to native wildlife and everything. So if we had a cat, it would have to be inside, which is gonna, if it's not one of these hyperallergenic ones, that's gonna really be uncomfortable for Joe. So I had a look for these cats, and they're very, very, very expensive to buy, and they're not apparently in shelters very often. So I would also want to wait until Owen's a little bit older because he does take up a lot of my time and attention, and especially if we had a kitten. I mean, it's not necessarily that we would get a kitten, but if it was a kitten, then they are very hard work. They are like newborn babies. It just goes much quicker than a newborn baby does. But, so yeah, I would like to get a cat eventually, but I just don't know when that's going to happen. Realistically, it might not happen. I just don't know. We'd have to wait and see. But if I was going to get a pet, it would definitely be a cat. Next question is pretty much the hardest question I've ever been asked. It is, this is from Josh, better Josh. If you had to choose 2 out of the following, what would it be and why? Kmart, Big W, Target, Bed Bath & Table, and Adairs. Joshua. I don't know if your name is Joshua, but I'm going to address you as Joshua because this is very serious. That is a very difficult question. I can't believe you've asked me that. I mean, so again, this is another question I've been thinking about all week. I think what I've come up with is that I would probably go Adairs, and then it's a toss-up between Big W and Kmart. Because Big W, I was talking about this with my mum because I was like, Mum, help me. I don't know the answer to this question. Big W, I feel like when I go to Big W, I shop from like all the different departments in the store. Like I go to the kids' clothes, I go to the toys, I go to the homewares, I go to, say, the electronics, I go the beauty stuff, the office supplies, everything. I shop from every department in that store. Whereas Kmart, I do the same thing with Kmart, but I probably like the homewares a bit more often, and I just don't know. Definitely Adairs. I'm gonna say Big W. I might regret that, I don't know. And Hannah's asked another question on one of the other videos. I don't know if this was meant to be a question for my Q&A or if it was a just a general question, but I'm going to answer it in my Q&A. And it is, how do you manage to keep all those lovely decorations in place? I have a 2-year-old, but I can't keep anything without her making a mess of it. She would want to play and explore every item out. So how do you manage with Owen? Does he not want to play with some new decorations, or how do you manage? So I did answer this in, I wrote back a comment and answered it, but I want to talk about it as well. So Owen, he has ruined some of my decorations, particularly the, I've got 2 little Christmas village items on my little, on a side table that's in the dining area. And they're ones that you turn on and then like things happen. Like there's one that has a train that goes around, and there's one that has a Christmas tree and that spins around. He's ruined both of those things. He held the train in place. We had it on and he held the train in place, and it got to the point where the motor just died. I don't know. And then the other one, he's pulled the whole Christmas tree off the little village thing. So he does ruin my Christmas decorations. Also, in the living room, the sun's gone away. In the living room, I have a TV unit, and usually I would have, well, ideally I would have some garland across it, but he likes to play his toy cars on there, so he takes that garland down and rips it off and throws it away somewhere else in the room. So yeah, he does mess up my stuff, but those are really the only couple of things that he goes for. He doesn't go for the Christmas tree now. I don't know why. Last year he just wanted to pull the baubles off, but this year he has not even shown the slightest bit of interest in it, which is delightful. Everything else, there's a lot of other things that most of the other things are sort of up too high that he can't reach them. And he also, if it's not a toy car, it's not really something he wants to play with. So I would say the best thing to do is place your Christmas items strategically. And then also, actually no, I lie. His Christmas tree in his bedroom, he wants to look at all the ornaments on there. So for the first few days, I would go with him and we'd stand there together and we'd look at them. I'd let him sort of touch. Everything on there is not breakable anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of having it look nice on the tree. So yeah, I'd sit with him. We'd press the buttons on the ones that could sing and all that kind of thing. So he had a look at it, and then he lost interest after a couple of days. He was not very interested after that. So that's how I manage with that. But yeah, don't be fooled. He has ruined some of my Christmas decorations, definitely. So that was the last question that I could find. I don't think, if I haven't answered your question, because I couldn't find it in the comments, I'm really sorry. Please let me know and I will answer it in the comments for you. If I get some more questions throughout the rest of Vlogmas, then I will definitely do another Q&A maybe next week. So if you have any further questions, please leave them down below and I will answer them for you as well. So I hope you have enjoyed this special edition of Vlogmas Day 9, it's Day 10. Like I say, if you have any other questions, leave them down below and I'll hopefully do another video like this if I can, if I get enough questions. Besides that, I hope you're having a lovely day and really enjoying your December so far, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!